Shimshon Shoshani, the deputy chair of the Israel Council for Higher Education, was unfortunately unable to come. So our next speaker in the greetings is Sinaya Netanyahu, the chief scientist of the Ministry of Environmental Protection. Sinaya,
thank you, Yossi. Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to see this auditorium full, and some people are indeed sitting in the stairs, as Tamar predicted, but there are some seats over here. Okay. So, again, good morning, Vice President Professor Raanan Rein, Dean of the Faculty of Life Sciences, Professor Moshe Mevorech, honorable scientists from Europe and the USA, scientists and participants for Israel, members of the organizing committee, and the master of this most interesting, challenging, and important event, dear Professor Tamar Dayan. We are gathered today to hear about taxonomy, biodiversity, and beyond, global change, science, and society in Israel. Among other things, we shall hear today about the loss of biodiversity, invasion biology, evolution, and migration of people and bacteria, global patterns in biodiversity, marine biodiversity, and ecological research. Today's scientific meeting is taking place following two extensive days, which I was fortunate to participate in, on discussion between leading international and Israeli scientists, practitioners, and policymakers dealing with research agendas in their various capacities in the Budget and Planning Committee, VATAT, the Ministry of Science and Technology, and the Ministry of Environmental Protection. Presentation and discussion were focused on environmental and biodiversity research in Israel and abroad, with an overarching goal to try answering the question that was posed to us: is Israeli science ready to meet local, regional, and global challenges in nature conservation, biodiversity, ecosystem services, taxonomy, and more? These 2 days were a global picture on cutting-edge biodiversity research was presented, assisting in illuminating the scientific strengths and weaknesses in taxonomy, ecology, and biodiversity science in Israel. Along these 2 days, key challenges were raised, which I'll mention just a few. For example, sources for long-term funding for monitoring, funding for applied research, communicating scientific knowledge to policymakers, taking advantage of new technological means for conducting surveys, assessments, and comparative studies, and also using those technologies or some other technologies as ways for enhancing public power in contributing to biodiversity knowledge. Biodiversity and ecological systems obviously depend on availability of water. Although considered a renewable source, here in Israel and in other places around the world, water sources have been affected by natural processes, but also by human activities and increasing and competing demands. Over the years, water sources became polluted and overexploited. The bottom line is that while water is being depleted, threats on biodiversity and ecological systems are increasing. Another challenge unique to Israel that Israel is facing is that we are actually have a relatively small size of land. The economic growth of Israel since its establishment is considered, judging by many economic indicators, as an amazing phenomenon. However, growth or economic growth did not come at no cost to our natural capital. This capital is not being accounted for in our and in other countries or other nations' GDP. Land development and changes in land uses over the years changed the Israeli landscape. The need to build large infrastructures, housing, industry, and agricultural sector has left open space, biodiversity, and ecosystem affected. The impact is, of course, not always positive. While the excuse of a young country rushing to develop its infant economy always holds, the cost we are paying may also imply that knowledge acquired by the excellent Israeli scientific community must find its way as an everyday matter to the attention of policymakers and practitioners, loud and clear, as many of you are doing that. Should communication channels are to be improved, we must insist on developing them further while supporting NGOs and the civil society in actively participating in this effort. Obviously, Having the National Biodiversity Plan translated into an action plan with financial means attached to it and necessary institutions that are needed to be put in place must be a high priority in our national agenda. And I know that our minister will talk about it this afternoon. I will conclude with sharing with you very quickly 3 related activities led by our ministry, the Ministry of Environmental Protection. The first one is the establishment of a Climate Change Adaptation Knowledge Center, where part of the center's tasks in relation to biodiversity were to identify research gaps and recommend on a national action plan for biodiversity in relation to climate change adaptation. So this is another effort that is being taken care of now. Another related activity is in the participation of interministerial mission from Israel in Rio 20 Plus, led by our minister, where Israeli actively participating for months in contributing to the Zero document to be eventually turned into a Rio 20 Plus declaration. The document addresses, as you probably know, among other things, the issue of biodiversity, agriculture, and water. Another important relevant activity, and I will conclude with that, is that our ministry is leading this day. There is a plan for green growth. The government has passed a decision in January and requested the ministry to submit a green growth plan during the month of May. What we are trying to do is to see as economic growth can be promoted, but still creating what we are trying to do in this program is creating mechanism and incentives to reduce pollution and waste and to increase efficiency in the use of natural resources for production of goods and services. And we do hope that this will contribute to a better environment in Israel. I thank you all for your attention and wish us all a very productive conference. Thank you.